Hey guys, so it's me, Nicolette Mashile, and today I want to take it back to the basics, right? I want to talk about why your budgeting sucks, especially if you're going at it the wrong way. So, budgeting is something that we always talk about as personal finance coaches. We talk about you need to budget, you need to do this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And a lot of people find themselves trying to budget, but the budget still does not work. And the first thing they ask me is, Nicolette, am I doing it wrong, or is there a correct way to budget? Now, what I found is that a lot of people budget without actually having a purpose of budgeting attached to their budget, right? Yes, everything in life has to have a purpose, because if you don't know why you're doing it, you're never going to get it right. One. Number two, you're not going to get encouraged to actually stay doing it, right? So remember that none of my videos constitute as financial advice. If you are looking for financial advice, please speak to somebody who is certified and registered with the FSCA. So today I have my whiteboard because I want to be able to demonstrate to you what is the best way for you to be able to budget, but also to attach a financial goal to your budgeting. Let's start here. So let me bring my whiteboard, right? This is my whiteboard. Now I'm quickly going to scribble on my whiteboard what I need you to understand. And I think the first thing you need to understand is what is your long-term, what is your midterm, and what are your short-term goals. So let's just have something very simple. Let's say one of your long-term goals is to build generational wealth, or let's just say build wealth. So your long-term goal is to build wealth. Now, you know that for you to be able to build wealth, you need to, one, be able to get more than one income stream. Two, you need to be debt-free for you to be able to build wealth. Because remember, debt starts to erode into your wealth. So the only way you can find yourself in a situation where you are wealthy is when you actually have as little debt as possible. Remember, the sum for your net worth is assets minus liabilities equals your net worth. When you have liabilities, which is debt, it means that you are taking from your asset statement or your asset balance, and you need to minus from that, and that gives you your net worth, which ultimately is your wealth number, right? So for you to be able to get to a point where you are wealthy, you also need to be debt free, right? So that is very important. That is your broader financial goal, your long-term financial goal. That is your 10 years plus financial goal. So if you are the same age as me, you are in your 30s, or you just crossed 30, or you are still at university and you want to build towards wealth, you need to put a date into saying, at the age of 35, I want to consider myself as a wealthy person, right? But then you also have to decide, what does wealth mean to you? What is that number that you want to get, with the net number that you want to get, or the net worth that you want to get to, that will give you that comfort to say, you know what, right now as I sit here, I consider myself to be a wealthy person. But let's look at it in the broader sphere of being debt-free and being able to use all your money for the things that you actually like and your living expenses. So, long-term goal is building wealth. I'm just going to put that in brackets, long-term. Now, your midterm goal are your goals between 3 years to 10 years, right? Sometimes for other people, midterm may look different because we all have a different timeline in terms of when do we want to reach our goals. But generally, your midterm goals are goals that are, they're not quick, but they're goals that you can work towards. Let's say you're now looking at the main goal of building wealth. What then would get you to build wealth? We just spoke about it. Debt is something that erodes your wealth. So let's say your midterm goal is to become debt-free. How do you look at this goal as a financial goal? You say, what are my debts currently? Let's say you've got a car loan, right? You've got a car loan. Let's say you've got a clothing account, right? Let's say you've got a credit card. And maybe let's say you've got one more. Let's say you've got an overdraft, right? Now, obviously, you want to live a debt-free life so that you can build your wealth. Because remember, again, I'm going to say this again, debt can erode your wealth, right? Clear on that. So your midterm goal is ultimately for you to become debt-free. Let's say you're giving yourself 5 years. 5 years to become debt-free, right? That's your midterm goal. Then what you need to have is what is called your short-term goals. Now, your short-term goals are goals that you are able to achieve in the next 1 to 12 months, right? 1 to 12 months, even 1 to 3 years can be seen as your short-term goals. Other people, as I said, sometimes look at 1 to 3 years as your midterm goals, 0 to 12 months as your short-term goals, and then 3 to 5 years as your long-term goals, or 3 to 10 years as your long-term goals. It's not important how long you decide what is what, right? Now, let's say your short-term goals is now to be able to find the drivers that are going to get you to become debt-free, right? So again, I'm going to explain that. Your short-term goals are the drivers that are going to get you to achieve your midterm goals. What is my midterm goal currently? My midterm goal currently is to become debt-free. So what do I need to do in my short-term goals to be able to actually be able to get to my long-term goals? You now need to go and do what is called a spending tracker, or look at your budget. So you've got to look at your every monthly things. What am I doing with my money? Because you need to make the decision as to say, the salary I'm currently earning, is it enough for me to become debt-free in the midterm so that I can live the long-term life that I want to live? If you realize that, okay, yes, I am earning enough money, but I am not managing my money well, there you know then what to do. You then know that you need to shift a couple of things so that you can channel your money into paying off debt so that you can become wealthy in the long run. Does that make sense? If you are not earning enough money, you've got to then ask yourself, why am I not earning enough money? And if it is true that I'm not earning enough money, and the reason of me not earning enough money is outside of my control, it then means that you need to look at other alternatives. And generally, those other alternatives is either you need to channel your money into buying money-making or money-generating assets, so you need to invest more money, or number two, you need to find an additional income stream. So let's take the two scenarios. Let's say you do earn enough for you to actually be okay to pay additional monies into your debts. Remember, the other thing that we do as human beings, which is a normal and a natural thing that we do as human beings, is that we always pay what is called a minimum payment. So if you've got a car loan, if you've got a credit card, if you've got an overdraft, and other than an overdraft, because an overdraft, remember, takes the entire amount of money that you owe. But let's look at a car loan and perhaps maybe a credit card. On your car loan, the credit provider will say to you, pay the minimum. So it's like the solanka, at least pay us 2,000 Rand every single month for you to be able to service your debt in the 5-year term that we've given you. On a credit card, they'll say, pay the minimum amount every single month for you to be able to maintain your credit limit, right? So most of us, our behavior says to us, pay the minimum amount. Pay the amount where the creditor is not going to come after you every single month, because they said it's okay for you. Even though you owe them on a car 120,000 Rand, they're saying it's okay for you with the interest rate that they've given you and the period that they've given you for you to pay 2,000 Rand every single month. So what do the majority of us do? That's how much we allocate on our budget towards our car. That's exactly how much we pay. But now we know, because we've done personal finance management and we understand how interest rates work. We know that if we pay additional amounts of money into our car loan, two things will happen. One, we're going to pay overall less interest, and two, we're going to pay off our car in a shorter period, meaning we're going to become debt-free on our car loan faster than what the bank has actually allocated to us. The bank says you can finish your car loan in 5 years if you pay 2,000 Rand every single month. You now know if you pay 2.5 thousand Rand instead of the 2,000, you will pay less interest overall, and you will finish that car loan off as quickly or quicker than the 5 years that has been allocated to you. But where is that additional 500 Rand going to come from? Now, these are what become your short-term goals in terms of your budget. The first thing you need to do is do what is called a budget or a spending tracker. What does this mean? It means that you need to get all your bank statements and sit down and actually go through your bank statements and say, okay, this is how much money I earn. So you got to write down how much money you earn. Let's say you earn 15,000 Rand a month. You earn 15,000 Rand a month, right? Now you've got to then look at where are you spending this 15,000 Rand. You might find that, okay, you've got rent. Let's say maybe your rent is 6,000 Rand. Then you've got a car. Let's say you're paying 2.5 for a car. let's say on insurance, you're paying, let's say 500 Rand. Lucky you, right? And then let's say, for instance, on grocery, you are paying 2,000 Rand. And then on petrol, you are paying, let's say 1,000 Rand, right? Let's say, and then it's your credit card. Let's say you are paying 750, and then let's say you've got a clothing account where you are paying maybe 300 Rand every single month, right? If you look at all those things, essentially you are spending 6,000 plus 2,000 is 8,000, plus 1,000 is 9,000, plus 2.5 is 10, 11, 500, plus the other 500 is 12,000, right? Plus 300 is 12,003, plus 750 is, so we're saying, let's start again, because you know math is a difficulty for me. So you've got 6,000 Rand, you've got 2.5, you've got 2.5 on a car, you've got 2,000 on groceries, you've got 1,000 Rand on petrol, you've got 750 on your credit card, and then you got 300 on your clothing account. So let's see how much that is. So that's 0, that's 5, that's 5 plus 7 is 5 plus 7 is 12, 12, 13, 14, 15. So that's 15, carry 1. That's 1 plus 6 is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right? So all those things are costing you 12,000 Rand and 550 Rand. Then you are saying, but Nicolette, even with that disposable income that I've got left, every single month, I'm not seeing where that money is going. Remember, idle money is bored money. Bored money is gone money. So let's add in your entertainment. So let's say you spend on alcohol another 2,000 Rand every single month. And that's now your alcohol, it's you going out and all those things. You spend another 2,000 Rand. And then let's say over and above that, you are spending another 500 Rand on data, because a lot of us spend a lot of money on data. So all that now is costing you 5 plus 5 is 0, carry 1, no, yes, carry 1, 12, 13, 14, 15. So now you're spending, you actually need 15,000 Rand and 50 Rand every single month. So already you can see that you are way above how much you actually earn, right? So a person like this, as I said, you might need to cut down, or you need to find an additional income stream, right? So let's say it's 15,050 Rand that you need to have every single month. Then you say, okay, where can I cut down, right? You need to look at where can you actually cut down. So let's say you go through everything and you're like, actually, I don't need to be spending 2,000 Rand on my entertainment. Let me bring down my budget for entertainment to 1.2, right? 1.2. If you bring your entertainment budget to 1.2, you all of a sudden now have 750 Rand as disposable income every single month. So you've cut money from your entertainment budget. But if you do not take that 750 Rand and allocate it somewhere else, it's going to become what we call idle money. Idle money becomes bored money. Bored money becomes gone money. Because you will find something to do with the 750 Rand. And it might be something that you will not be able to pinpoint out every single month. So what you then need to do is to take the 750 Rand and allocate it to one of your other skolotos, one of your other debts. I would say you allocate it to your clothing account. You're only paying 300 Rand on your clothing account. Let's say the balance of your clothing account is 3,000 Rand or 7,000 Rand. If you take the 750 and you put it in here, you are now paying additionally 750 Rand on this clothing account. In a couple of months, this clothing account will disappear. The moment the clothing account disappears and you don't use that clothing account anymore, you now have an additional 300 Rand. Right? 300 Rand plus 750 is 1,050 Rand disposable income. All of a sudden now, you are working towards that midterm goal of becoming debt free, because now you can take this 1,000 Rand and actually allocate it to a car, to the car. Currently paying 2.5 on the car, you can take an additional 1,050 Rand and add it to your car. You will start to see how it magically works for you to be able to reduce the amount of interest that you pay on the car, but also to hurry the amount of months that you pay on the car. This method is called the snowball method. Now you can start seeing that you're using a method on your budget so that you can reach these short-term goals of becoming debt-free, but ultimately the bigger picture is to build wealth. So when you are doing your budget, you see now how I've moved and I've allocated money to different places. I've cut there by the alcohol and entertainment budget so I can put it somewhere else, so that you are actually creating a monthly budget for yourself. This is why we say your monthly budget might not look the same every single month, and it's a living document that you need to be conscious of every single month, because you need to know what is happening in your money. How are you spending your money? Where can you move money around so that you can ultimately reach your short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals and get to the bigger picture that you actually want to get to? Very, very important. I'll just turn the board around so you can kind of see the types of working out that I have done. I don't know if you can see everything. Okay, no. The turning of the board does not work. But if you follow the video, you understand what it is that I was talking about. Mwah.